Welcome to this channel. This is Teacher Robert, and in this video I'm going to discuss how to factor perfect square trinomials. So perfect square trinomials can either be of this format, so you have x squared plus 2xy plus y squared, or it could be x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. Now the first one, to factor it out, it could be factored as x plus y quantity squared. So how do you do that? So just get the square root of the first term. The square root of that is x. And the square root of the last term is y. And then just combine it with whatever the sign here. So you have plus. And so you get x plus y quantity squared. Take note that is the same as x plus y times x plus y. Now for the second one, it's just similar to the first one. It's just that the sign is changed. So you have here minus. So the factors of that should have the minus sign. So you have x minus y quantity squared. Again, it could also be written as x minus y times x minus y. Alright, so let's try to factor out some perfect square trinomials here. So the first one, we have x squared plus 10x plus 25. So to factor it out, identify the square root of the first term. The square root of this is x, and the square root of the last term is 5. So the factored form of that would be x plus 5 quantity squared. Alright, let's move to the second example. Alright, let's move to the second example. So the square root of this is x, and the square root of this is 13. 13 times 13 will give us 169. And if you check, 13 times 2 would give you 26. Alright, so this is a perfect square trinomial. The factored form of this would be x plus 13 squared. Now for the third one, again, get the square root of this. The square root of that is x. The square root of this is 8. So the factored form of this would be x minus 8 quantity squared. Again, take note of the symbol here, that's minus, so you will also take minus in the factored form. Number 4. You have here, square root of this is x, square root of 196 is 14. So the factored form of that would be x minus 14 quantity squared. So that's basically how you factor perfect square trinomials. In this case, you need to identify missing parts of the perfect square trinomial. So what we're going to do here, take note that perfect square trinomials are of this format: x squared plus 2xy plus y squared, or it could be x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. Notice that the middle term is twice the product of the square root of the first term. The square root of this is x, and the square root of the second term. So twice of that would be 2xy, and that should be the middle term right here. The same here, it's x and this is y, and then get the product. That should be twice the product of that. So you have 2 times the product, so you have 2xy. That means this middle term right here is twice the product of the square root of this and the square root of that. So if we find it, so to find the square root of this, that would be x, and then twice, take note that the middle term is twice the product of this and the square root of that. So you have here 2x times that number. What should we multiply to 2x to get 14x? So we need to multiply 2x by 7 to get 14. So we have 7 right here. And so 7 must be the square root of the third term. And in reverse, to get the term here that is the square of 7, so this should be 49. For the second one, it's the same. So get the square root of this first, so that would be x, and 2x times something. Alright, so what should we multiply to 2x to get 24? That should be 12. And that is the square root of that, 12. Then get the square of 12, that would be 144. Alright, for the third one, get the square root of this, that should be 4x. And the square root of this is 5. Take note, we are looking for the middle term, so that is twice the product of these two. So you get the product of that is 2 times 4x times 5. So the answer is 40x. Now for the fourth one, again, get the square root of this, so that would be 5x. And we need to find that number, so you have 2 times 5x times that certain number in order for us to get this one. What should we multiply to 2 times 5x to get 100xy? So you have, this is 10x, so we will multiply this by 10y. Let's check. 2 times 5 is 10, times 10 is 100, then xy. So that should be the middle term. Now, this is the square root of the first term. So we have here 10y. And so, this should be the square of that. So you have 10y squared. The answer is 100y squared. Alright? So, that's basically how you find the missing terms of a certain perfect square trinomial. So, let's have some more examples regarding factoring perfect square trinomials. So, you have here 25a raised to 4 minus 10a squared plus 1. Then you have other polynomials to factor. Don't be afraid with these polynomials because it's given that these polynomials are already perfect square trinomials. So it would be easy for you to identify the factors. So let's start with the first one. Again, get the square root of the first term. So the square root of 25 is 5. The square root of a raised to 4 is a squared. And the square root of 1 is 1. So the factored form of that would be 5a squared and then minus 1 quantity squared. Okay, so how about the second one? Now the square root of this is 4, and square root of that is x, square root of this is y. So you have 4xy, the square root of 144 is 12. So the factored form of that would be 4xy plus 12 quantity squared. And for the third one, we have 9a raised to 2n. So what's the square root of 9a raised to n? Again, the square root of 9 is 3. The square root of this would be a raised to n, because that is a raised to n times a raised to n. So you have a raised to n. And this one will be b raised to n. So the factored form of this would be 3a raised to n minus b raised to n quantity squared. And for the last example, we need to treat this one as a single variable. So we have the square root of this whole thing would be n plus 3. And the square root of 4 is 2. So it's easy. Now to factor this out, you will have n plus 3 plus 2 quantity squared. Or it could be simplified as n, that's 3 plus 2 plus 5 squared. Alright? So that's basically how you factor perfect square trinomials. So I hope that you learned something in this video. Thank you for watching. Please visit other contents in this channel and don't forget to hit like and subscribe.